and gentlemen, I'm figuring that you're going to be able to hear me. Let me just get my headphones hooked up. And once I make sure everything is good on OBS, I'm going to turn the camera around and give due respect to Laura, who's going to be giving up 90 minutes of quality Sims time while I'm going to be doing this. Oh my goodness, it's still playing. Oh, is it playing? Stop. Oh, that's the thing. Okay, guys. Let me just go over to my thing here so I could see what I can see. It looks like we have about 6 people here. Let me see if I can get my camera so you can see that there is a human being behind this. Drag that window over here. Adjust my camera. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm wearing looks like everybody else in the United States right now because geez, all of our clothes is all just saggy and laden with the earths of life, shall we say. No, we're not going to go down that route. So how is everybody doing? If you want to ask any questions, go over to the live chat over there. And it looks like I'm getting a little bit of glare off the window behind me. Let me see. Let's see if I can just get that down because it is just annoying. Sorry, I didn't set this up in advance. All right, there we go. It darkens things a bit, but at least you don't have that glare annoying you guys. Alrighty. So let's see. I'm just going to see if I'm missing anything here. I do not see anybody in chat. I'm just going to verify that I am alone here, because sometimes it does not show it in the main, like a studio window. And really, maybe you guys don't have much to ask. We've done a lot of these. So I'm just going to check this out really quick. Because make sure that the videos... Oh, there it is. Yeah, actually, hold on. And make sure... Yep. Okay. Yeah, we don't. Yep. Audio is really quiet. Oh, okay. Thank you. You're really quiet, you say. Okay, I'm going to just pump it all the way up. That's it at maximum, actually. Is it muffled? Maybe I need to sit closer? How's that? I don't see any other chat. Let me see TTT. Get that theater mode here so I can see it concurrently over to the side. All right. Audio really low. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, geez, my t-shirt is saggy. Actually, this is one of the better shirts that I have. One of the classier shirts that I could wear this evening from Standard Baking Company here in Portland. If you're lucky enough to live here in Portland, Maine, we have literally one of the top 10 bakeries, in the United States here, and their bread is, oh my goodness. It's one of the things I've really missed during quarantine. I would literally walk a mile and a half to get like a couple of their baguettes. I wouldn't think twice about it. It's so good. So can you hear me? Okay, great. Everybody's saying the audio is better. Thank you very much. Now, we're not going to go over much in the way of new stuff this evening. We do have a build this time, and I could demonstrate like a couple of functional things. But again, as the last couple of weeks I put out there, really, as we get closer and closer to the release of the alpha, we're sort of just not producing new stuff. We're just making sure that the stuff that we have works as best as we can make it work, and that is our number one priority. So we are going to take just a quick spin around. I mean, we did get some new stuff and some new post-processing effects, some new textures. The menus finally work, and as always, I'm going to apologize for the first time out of many, because as the time drags on this evening, my voice will get progressively more and more hoarse. I do not speak out loud to people very often, and I'm pretty sure very few of us are doing that these days. But hey, you take what life gives you and you make lemonade. So let me just get out of this. This is actually on the left, not the current menu screen, believe it or not. That is a previous version that was put together, in a previous iteration of the project, and it's changed so much right now. I mean, we got new models, new animations, and such, and I've been meaning to get around to reproducing that maybe sometime very soon. Now, um, this evening is your time, as always, to ask questions or make comments or blah or so on and so forth. Because well, I'll just boot up what we have here, and we could talk about that. But really, if it's a quiet evening and no one has any questions, I may be out of here in 54 minutes. If it's longer, I may be there. If we have a lot of questions or a lot of stuff to talk about, well, hey, you know me, I can Grandpa Simpson for hours. We're gonna run this at ultra, um, at full resolution. And what I need to do now, really quick, is I need to go over to OBS and I need to scale down the screen because this is actually being done on my ultra widescreen monitor, and you should get the whole thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that up there. Sorry. Video capture device. Drag my picture down here so I'm less of an intrusion. Maybe I could replace my face with one of those animated characters or something that just like makes you look into a potato or something. We'll see. Okay, we're set up now. Oop, did I? No, actually, it's been pushed up. There we go. We don't lose any of our screen size. And I will bring myself down because really I am so minimal to this whole process. What the heck? Let's just bring it down to the middle. Now, first off, we got the menus are now functioning. This is the first alpha with a functioning menu for, I think, since alpha number 3 or 4 that came out well over a year ago, I think, at this point. And that time, we were using a different framework. Actually, let me turn down that music. It's getting a little bit loud. Sorry about that. No questions. Now, what's really cool about this is, again, I mean, every alpha since the very beginning, I've always said, performance. It's gone so far up, but really this time, performance has just taken such a leap over what it was before. We're going to have a tiny bit of lag because there's still. Oh, sorry. Let's go back there for a moment. I see a little bit. Let's go here. These are just stand-ins. We got the radio working. We need to adjust the volume on there. So that the radio is a little bit louder. But what's the nice thing about this is that we could walk away from this radio and go to another radio somewhere on the island, pardon my meow, and it will keep real time on that radio. Essentially, it's going to, not... It's going to be a persistent... The timing of the radio is persistently kept, so that if I go back to that radio, it's going to be playing the same thing as if I had walked away for the same amount of time. I know that sounds like a simple thing to do, but you wouldn't believe how difficult something... I mean, the most simple things are to do within this framework, within, gaming framework. It's always astounding. And if you look at the left side of the street here, Arjuna's textures, on display. We need to still do something about those concrete. Still, just those are like props from like one of the first iterations. Oh, and also you can see here, I put a sort of ruts in the road. I want 3D ruts, and we will have that eventually. But this was just sort of like the first layer of paint, shall we say. Hopefully in time for the beta, we're going to have time to go through, or I will have time to go through. We've got brushes and tools that will allow me to sculpt, on that level. It's just, essentially, there's no automated process for that. That's just going to take me sitting there and making, those ruts by hand. And, that's sort of like nitty-gritty work is sort of stuff I really enjoy, actually. I think I told you in the last live cast that I sat there and I literally placed the first iteration of trees and boulders. I literally placed everything on the island by hand, and heck, I don't mind doing something like that. I mean, well, not wasting my time on a process like that, but just being able to go in there and just do really meticulous work and handiwork and such. Because I don't know. I think one of the reasons that my game really spoke to people as such is because I spent so much time, making things and oh, we still have flying grass there, guys. Sorry, apologies. I spent so much time. The persistent vegetation storage, I need to tweak that, guys. I apologize. We want to get that flying grass out of there. Um, and we still have a little bit of a collision issue with, you see there, the camera. When it does detect the ground anymore. If you'll remember the previous ones, if we went down here, the camera would actually rotate beneath the cat, and it would go beneath the terrain. But now it's reactive to that. And also, in this, we've added tone mapping. If you just fine tune some visual effects. And one of the really beneficial things is we still have some issues with chickens walking on the air, but this is another thing I wanted to tell you about. Richard has sort of like redone the AI for a heck of a lot of the NPCs in the game, and that's what we're calling, the other animals in this. They're really going to be NPCs, non-player characters, quest givers and such. Essentially, all of those guys are getting revamped AI that uses a heck of a lot less processor speed. That is one of the major reasons why we're having, one of the many reasons why performance just skyrocketed, and why I was like, yes, it's performing so well. Let's bring in some more visual effects, because I don't know. Other than getting rid of that flying grass is on my checklist for the next alpha, by the way. But let's see, do we want to head downtown? Let's just go here. Oh, looking good, thank you. Audio is good, thank you. Yeah, and by the way, we are still going to be using music by this guy, but we're actually going to be redoing the entire soundtrack after the next alpha. I mean, don't get me wrong, listen to this guy. He does great work, but the problem is we want main talent, as much state of main talent working on the game as possible. And yeah, we're going to use his music, but for the, main game world soundtrack, I want a main musicians working on it. I mean, the guy who's doing our interiors, Richard, is the same guy who's doing interior soundtrack. Is Richard, who's also doing our AI, more floating grass there. Another thing we're going to be adding is finally reactive grass. No, not for the next alpha. I mean, I'd like to, but really, that is not a priority. But reactive grass for the beta, definitely. Because ideally, I mean, I'd like you to be able to, as a cat, be standing on top of a ridge and just be looking at the grass down below, and you see, a smaller animal, just by its motion through the grass, and that would be, hunting, etc. We're in the Cathedral Woods here in the middle of town. You see, we got those little loading lags still, but let me tell you, they're better than they've ever been. And again, jeez, I'm not going to complain. About little things like that when it's performing better than it ever has. And by the way, one of the major things that we want to bring in, and I should have mentioned this earlier, is we're going to be bringing in a new controller. Well, not a new controller, but we're going to be revising the controller and the animations as soon as we get the IK work. Hopefully, that's going to be coming in within the next few days, within the next 10 days or so. And that is really the last really burnout thing we got to do before the alpha is ready to go, is that a new controller, because I really want to show off, a more reactive cat motion. Right now there's still too much of that like weird rotation. Oh, there's another chicken. Hey there. Just go run off the woods here. By the way, again, like I said on Twitter the other day, I mean, the one thing that I don't mind sequestering myself in social isolation. I mean, this is the plague times here are a great time for introverts, because we're like, oh yeah, no problem, we'll stay indoors. Oh, we got a floating cat there. Actually, we could transfer to him or her. Now, somewhere around here, let's see if we can find him, is the invasive species prototype. Let's see if we have any questions. Nope. Guys, ask questions. How are your guys' lives doing? I should ask you questions. I'm just going to go on the mushroom hunt here. The fungus hunt. Let's see. Oh, is that him? Is that? That looks like him. Let's go. It's time to party, man. Yeah, there he is. Or it. Yeah, see? Kayla, our animator, is working on a new version of this. We're using a jellyfish as a stand-in. Now, the neat thing about this is, geez, we could stand here and watch. There we go. You see, it's dropping a spore package. Now, what that spore package is going to do here is it is going to dynamically sprout a ring of mushrooms. And it's going to drop other spores. Now, the sweet thing about this is those mushrooms are going to grow in a ring outward. And whenever all three colors, red, green, and blue of the mushrooms intersect, it spawns another one of these guys. And Richard got it down so smooth. He said, I mean, we're going to have to tweak it because it is just too many jellyfish. But he said he woke up and there were 1,000 of these guys just floating around. The persistent spawning was just working so well. I mean, that's just a jewel. Richard did such a great job on that. But it's so. I mean, we're gonna have to do some spawning things. But also, let me see. Colliders. Still have colliders on the solid objects we got to take care of. Let's see. Nobody's stuck inside, joining in peace and quiet. It's going to be chaos when I get out. A lot of chickens in Peace Island. Actually, Thomas, yes. By the way, this is the guy who did the composition of the Peace Island National Anthem, or Peace Island Republic Anthem. And you can see this is a situation where reactive grass would be useful because you can't even see, you're losing sight of your kitty cat there through the grass. But we're going to eventually get that so, the grass will part as you go by, et cetera, et cetera. You'll be able to hide in certain kind of grasses when you go hunting. Let's see, where are we here? Oh, sometimes I lose track of where we are here. I think, yeah, we're at the edge of downtown again. Now, let's just take a walk up here. We're going to have another interior. And by the way, speaking of interiors, that's one more thing I wanted to show you. I mean, it's a primitive one because we still have texture issues and a few things to work out, but it just goes to show that we've got it in there. Let's see. We'll take a different route. We always go downtown. There's a school. We're still missing some hedges there. Going to bring those back in. Loading chunk lag there. Also, another thing I tell you, another reason, one of the reasons it's lagging a little bit heavy is because I'm running this on Ultra on a humongoid monitor. So, pardon me. Let's see here. He did the anthem that. Oh, Tom, did I send you the a violin version of the solo violin version? That a woman, I believe in Ireland, did a cover of it. Hopefully you're still there. Maybe we could play that a little bit on. I mean, we've gotten so much talent in this game, really. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. We're going to go see an interior. Sorry, again, chunky. Because we are still streamlining things, and this downtown area is troublesome because, well, it is the most densely populated area in the island, and we're streamlining things all the time. But I want to show you as far as like interiors. In the next alpha, we're going to have 3 interiors, and this is the first one. And again, just be prepared. Yeah, there's some texture issues, but see here, we can go up to it. There we go, and enter. And you see how quickly that loaded. Now we still have the collider issue, as you can see with the thing going through. Oh, we got the staircase now. Last time I checked this out, we were still having issues. Hold on. What I got to do here? I think it's got to escape. And then the cat drops. You see it's got to reinitialize something there. But let me see if I zoom in. Maybe, that's the thing. I can't zoom in far enough. We're always going to be going through those. But let me see here. Some things need to be rescaled. You see, everything is set to almost like child scale. So it's sort of small in this one office. But you got the office over there. We probably have collider issues with the walls, so let's see. Oh, no, no, he does get stuck. We have to improve the colliders. Oh, epilepsy warning there, cut. But you see, we have the glass walls there and a little bit of autofocus issues. Let's see, can we go up the stairs? Oh, yes, we can. By the way, him going up the stairs is going to look so much better once we get that IK worked out. Yeah, and upstairs, by the way, this is the Chamber of Commerce. The scale looks a little bit better up here. Scaling of everything looks a little bit better up here. But you can hear there, we got the radio again. We can hear it through downtown, downstairs. But let's see, now we can go out the top floor here. And we're going to be outside yet again. But the thing is, I think we have to wait for just a moment. Yeah, the outside world had to load there, you see. And now the cat could just, always lands on his feet. But again, those, oh, that's going to be so much better. But, oh, zoom out, yeah. Let's see. Jeez, what else was I going to show you off to you guys? Well, let's go to another place where there's a different soundtrack. Let's go to Sue. Yep. Oh, yeah. Gabriel Gentile is here. See, I mean, listen to that. That's so... there's some tracks I don't want to lose. I mean, that's... I don't want to talk over it, but it seems to... It's stopped because of the nature. But there's some music that has that perfect wistful, you know, feeling that I want. Now it's getting a little bit too heavy with the emotion. The stump is still there. I mean, how could they drive through the rut goes right through the stump? Eric, when are you going to get this fixed? Oh, boop, boop, boop. Collider issue. We're still working on those colliders. There's so many thousands of objects, thousands upon thousands. Ah, there you go. Oh, man, I so miss just sitting there and watching the ocean, let me tell you guys. Meow. Meow indeed, cat. Meow indeed. Let's see what if we can see what's on top. Oop, nope, nope, not a good jump, but maybe there. Yep. There he is. Still have a little bit of a cutoff issue with the fog and the draw distance there. When you look out into the ocean, it should like go straight into fog. But still, all things considered, I ain't complaining. My goodness. And look here, how some of the grass is reactive to the wind here, but some is not. I think this is all my fault, guys. I'm going to have to spend some dedicated time with this storage. Storage? Foliage. We keep our foliage in storage. Let's see. We're going to go to third cat, Sue. I think. No, that's Susie. We're going to go to Liz, who's in the middle. Ah, there we go. Radio playing there. Again, got to adjust the volume. You could barely hear it. But trust me, when the alpha is released, yeah, we're up by the Ellison Farms again. And yeah, definitely. You're not going in there in the game. Trust me. It would be really disobeying signs if a cat, I mean, would a cat disobey a sign? Oh no, you're not going in there. No, you get the joke there, I hope. I have a little bit of flying pavement there to take care of. We just adjusted the roads, so the terrain about the roads is a little bit off. But here we're up here by Alexander Ellison's fruit stand. Oh, who's messaging me in the middle of this, inflicting you guys with all that bondage? Let's get these guys up on a... Oh, You know, that is one thing. I noticed there's a collider issue with these guys. This kind of foliage here. We're not even get into that. Hold on for a moment, guys. I gotta go over here and turn this off, so I don't. So we do not hear the bongage. Here, they're probably saying, "Stop calling it bongage." What? Oh, Kayla, thank you. Kayla just sent some new stuff in. We're gonna check that out later. Oh yeah, and here's the famed toilet garden. One of the first like big prop things that I added, but I think I told that story so many times. Um, let's see here. We're just gonna take a walk back into downtown, and again, you're probably saying to yourself, Eric, where's the conversation engine? Where's the quest giving? Where are the NPCs? Well, all this. Sorry again, we are sort of just we got to focus on making what we have work as best as we can over the next couple of weeks. And trust me, over in the famed foot. I mean, that was, trust me, that stuff is coming soon. Long story short, that stuff is coming soon. This foot was quite a mystery to people. And trust me, in the game, it's very important plot-wise, but it sort of freaked some people out. They were wondering, was there's a bug or something? But no, it's well, I can't give away spoilers, but trust me, it's important, guys. I'm gonna see here. Maybe we can take a quick, yeah, we can trip over to Little Flam Fish Works on Ocean, Ellison. That's the one thing I still get lost on this island. Sometimes I forget that Ellison goes into, you see, the old La Flamme Fish Works. Oh, an old biome there. Those little grasses there. Flying grass. Oh, and by the way, go out to Cliff Island, and yes, some of the trees are like this. Cliff Island, understand, it's out in Casco Bay, like it's one of the islands that we base this on. They don't like strangers there, and I mean, really, their roads are there for the people that live there or rent property, and they don't make it easy to get around sometimes. They make you uncomfortable. Oh, it looks like we're missing a little bit of a prop there. Oh no, that's because of a road adjustment. We'll take care of that. You see, there's still little jinks in the road there that I'm gonna have to take care of. But and see how the cat slides. And hopefully, once we get the IK taken care of, notice how the cat is still horizontal, no matter what he or she is standing on. That again will be addressed. Also, I mean, oh my goodness, I'm so looking forward to this controller. Now, this is, an area in the game. Part of me wants to change it, but part of me doesn't, because it's got just a great derelict look to it. I mean, I like the clock. The clock is staying, but I like that factory. But I don't know. Time will tell. And we'll figure it out. Let's see here. Now, this is an old company town. Arjun, our texture guy, everybody on the game, I mean, really, they say too many cooks, but I like just a hell of a lot of the cooks that we have working on the game. Arjuna just challenged me the other day. He said, why would these old, migrant housing or, tenant migrant workers housing, why would it be brick? It would be wood, but I countered, because if they were wood, they would have to be maintained. I mean, brick buildings could be left derelict like longer than wood ones, but there was a subplot in this that did require, those old cottages to be. I mean, those old, migrant worker housing. Cabins to be like sold out as cheap Airbnb housing. And up here, actually, back behind us there, that is the itinerant housing, the workers. But up here, the more even like more worn down awful housing, that's that's where the migrant workers lived. They didn't. They had to walk all the way out there. But I mean, really, I'd rather live in one of these than where we just were. I mean, this looks like I don't know. I don't know. I could make a pretty decent house inside of there. But when you go over here to this like steampunk nightmare, excuse me, kitty, don't fall down. That's what you're stuck with there. Please, boss, let me work up the hill where they have the nice wooden houses. Well, no, these are going to be wood houses. But I mean, the thing is, our unit brought up a good point, and I mean, really, you gotta, geez, important to listen to the people that you work with. Take advantage of the brain power you have. Yeah, this has a forlorn music in it, but let's see here. Yeah, the old Laflamme mansion. Can't stay away from the old Laflamme place. Especially the guy who lives on the top floor. I mean, he could probably hit you from this distance, depending on what I mean. If it with a very heavy piece of fruit or something, I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah, from that balcony up there. See, you could just barely see it through the on top of the column there. You could stand on top of the balcony, just be a cruel, horrible person. No, he wouldn't. Well, the guy who lives up. You know, I don't want to give it too much away for the whole like character arc, but if I were to compare some, like the elder Laflamme brother to somebody, I'd like compare him to Dwight Schrute out of The Office. Uh, he's the kind of guy that just would just stand up there and with a pair of binoculars and look for people to just like break the 20-mile-per-hour speed limit by half a mile so that he could call the cops. The one cop on the island who's probably blocked his number, you know, and the only person he can call for help is Alexander Ellison, because Alexander Ellison knows it. He knows what ails you. He knows what your problem is. He knows he's on your side. Anyway, let's see. We're almost back downtown, guys. You see up there, by the way, the roof of the museum is magenta. We're going to take a look at that later on. That's one of the last artifacts we got to deal with. That purple house there. That's owned by Boyd Lobster Shanty. And by the way, Gabriel, I don't know whether you're still here. Oh no, Gabriel has heard the full mix of Boyd's Lobster Shanty ad. I will play a little bit of those later on for entertainment. But yeah, there's Boyd's Lobster Shanty. And sorry. See, that's we have a little bit of a foreground. You see, some people say, why don't we use a focal point for the camera? This is why, guys. You have sometimes if you don't do it right, you have things like that go up. Those little snaps of, foreground blur. But, by the way, again, I want to show you another thing that we have here. It's sort of like no-brainer, but here, options. We can actually turn down the volume, finally, on the master and other stuff. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to just go back here and, oh, hi, Wolfer Puff. Well, it's pretty much the same. Gentile. Okay, Gentile. We're going to show off a little bit of his work, but we got the audio, so let's see, resume. We're just going to find a pretty place to sit and watch the sun go down as we listen to some audio from the game here. Go down to the beach. Ah, there we are. The boat no longer is... Oh, no. Does it? It looks like the boat has shifted space. Oh, look at that. We need to raise the ocean, see? Either that or we could go into Blender and just, lengthen those legs. That's embarrassing, guys. Don't look at that, guys. We're going to go to a better place. I'll show you. I was just joking. All right. What we're going to do is go up here. And if we don't have any questions, I'm just going to go. And we're going to listen to some, audio that we got. Now, I like the Thomas. I don't know whether he's still here. I got the new version of the anthem. Yeah, we're just going to go over to the public dock. We'll stand over here. Flying grass, flying grass. All right, there we go. And what we do is just Alt-Tab out of there. And let's see. Any questions? Nope. Move that out of there. Sorry, that's... what the heck? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Don't look at that. It's embarrassing. All right, there we go. Move that over here so I can get over to... my audio. Yeah, Boyd. Yeah, Boyd. Is that the full mix? You know, that's the one thing I think that I only have that. Do I? Let me just see. Well, first off, let's just listen to Ben's Restorative Tonic. Because that was just. Yeah, hold on. I really enjoy getting that. Let's see. Oh, let's see, SoundCloud. Oh, yeah, music. Richard wants to. Let me make sure the audio levels are up. I'm sorry, Richard. And you guys are staring at this MP3 window. Let's see. And goodness gracious. I'm very sorry, guys. You know, Scotty tells me you can set up like layouts and save them and go back and forth. I'm just an idiot and I can never remember that. But let's see if we can get this working. So, anyway, honestly.
I remember my favorite drinks when I was a boy. Ben's Restorative Tonic. When I walked by, he'd throw them at me. Ben's Restorative Tonic. Cause strange feelings in my tummy. Ben's Restorative Tonic. All the added sugar they'd allow. Ben's Restorative Tonic. What are you looking at now? I remember
I'm sorry.
my
favorite. I mean, the thing is that one of the subplots is that Ben's Restorative Tonic was originally owned by the Ellison family, and it was created by an utter psychopath. And I told the guy who wrote that jingle, you know, this is a guy that would just he had utter contempt for everybody, and he would just it was supposed to be about a jingle about how he was a little kid and he remembered sneaking past that guy's house and the guy would throw it at him. And let's see, and its slogan was, "What are you looking at?" But like, "What are you looking at?" But he changed it to something. What are you looking at now? So it's like all modern. Let me see, Gabriel. I thought I had that. Let me see. Super Blueberry. So much stuff I have. Master. Let's see. Oh, that's the anthem. What we're going to do here is. That's the anthem again. What happened to you, Eric? What happened to your brain? Oh, that's a little bit of here. Oh, there we go. Be right back, guys. Thank you for your patience, guys. That was just a cover of the anthem that he did. I think I found Boyd. Let me make sure. Yeah.
Hi there, it's Boyd from Boyd's Lobster Shanty. For 3 generations, our family has been preparing Maine's favorite comfort foods at a good price for both tourists and locals alike. So, if you're in town and need someone to chop up an oversized sea cockroach and toss chunks of its flesh in a mixture of mayonnaise and vinegar, we're here to make you smile. It's like my beloved grandpa always said, come on down to Boyd's, where we will haunt you and your entire family through the space-time continuum, and the universe itself will lament the day you were ejected into this uncaring world. We also serve French fries.
Yeah. That was a little. Laura pointed out that was a little bit dark. Yeah, it was a little bit dark. Nothing I could say about that. It was what it was. Let me see. We added the Ben's Restorative Tonic. Let me see if we have anything else. Super Blueberry. Yeah, we don't really want to play some of these. So, let me see, pay $5 for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just let. I'm going to see. I'm pretty sure we have some questions over there. We got to have some questions, guys. Please ask questions. If not, I'm going to start just asking you questions. Well, I'll play. This is the original anthem with a violin over it. Is this not? I thought it was. Yeah, full. Okay. Right? No. Yeah. Oh, I do have questions. Oh, what? Loud it comes across as. Let me see. I said I was going to ask some questions. Let's see. And why do I have my Discord window open there? I don't know, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see. And what I can do also is I can add my ugly mug to this whole picture. Let me see here. OBS Studio. Video capture device. Right over there. It's now focused on some sort of like hole in my wall over there. Oh my, how the night is falling. What I'm going to do. Oh, no, that's gone. What time are we at, by the way? 7:44. Hopefully that is not too loud for everybody. I'm going to bring it back. Okay. Woofer Poof has the only question for this evening. And it looks like we have how many people? Probably about 21. My goodness, guys. That's the most we've had in a while. Geez. I think you'd think I'd have more questions with that many people here. But I guess not. It is what it is. Let's see. Here's the thing. You can zoom in, and you are going to want to zoom in as you're hunting and such. That would be an option. Yes, having over the shoulder camera. Excuse me, in my burbage. I just to keep my throat lubricated. I'm just constantly. Let's just go out to the beach here. Oh my goodness, I got to do better on that transition on the road there. But yeah, we're gonna probably offer. I mean, some people are. I don't doubt it, are going to want first-person perspective, but I don't think it's going to be very practical as far as gameplay. Oh, and look out here. Remember I was talking about flying grass? Over here, we have the mother of all flying grass situations. I don't know what's going on over here. Now, this is what I was talking about. This is Eric's problem. This is because Eric did not tweak the persistent foliage storage, and thus, hey, magic like that happens. It's the land of the flying grass. But it's just a tiny little islet off the side of the coast. And I got to redo this path here, make it a little bit more natural. This is actually based on a place. I mean, right over there where that big rock would be. If this was actually Peaks Island, that would be where I'd be looking for sea glass right about now. I don't know. Right now it's probably gotten kind of cold. I would have taken a ferry back by now. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're having level issues. See how something is still a lot of floating. A lot of floating. Gonna have to do something about this. I think it has to do with my terrain building. This whole thing about the roads, but that again can be tweaked. All right, there you go, kitty cat. We'll just sit here because this is a nice natural spot with no bugs. And I'm going to see if there are any other questions or anything here. Oh, grass cave, yeah. Hold on, you probably heard my kitty cat, did you? No. Yeah, you did. Hello, Lizzie. You want to say hello to the people? She's got to play this with Lizzie, come on. I got headphones on. Be right back, guys. Come on, Lizzie. Come on. All right. Lizzie, she meows for attention, and then she runs away. That's her. All right, now she's asking. Okay. And let me see. I'm going to see if I can just focus the camera down there because... Uh-oh. Did our feed end? I'm hoping our feed didn't end. What happened here? I'm just seeing nothing over there. I'm going to go to my live streaming window and see. Oh, yeah, it's still going. Okay, we're good. See, yeah, I'm just trying to... Yeah, I'm going to have to bring Lizzie up, maybe. Hello. Come on, Lizzie, come on. The thing is, she's a lap cat. She isn't a hug cat. So I'm just trying to wait and see. Does it come up? Does it come up? Who knows, man? Here's hoping. Here's hoping some people out there in the real world are seeing you right now. You're an adorable little kitty cat. Bring her up. Anyway. Oh, yeah, there. I'm seeing it in the window now. Oh, there she comes. Yes, yes, he's seeing a little bit of her. See, Lizzie, she needs her. I'm just gonna maybe you can, if I could. You're probably not going to be able to see her sitting in my lap because I can't get that wide of a shot. But yeah, every evening she's got to have about 45 minutes of good lap time, and we're in the middle of that. Sorry about that, losing my little perspective. Yeah, now she's just plopped down right into my lap. I'm going to see if there are any more questions. Oh, yeah, I was going to play Richard's music. This is, he's been doing some interior music. Dashing over the messenger. Let's see, SoundCloud, Eco Domain, yeah. Yeah, this is a bit of music that he's doing. We're going through several iterations of music. This is, by the way, Richard, if you're watching, this is, I believe, the second version of this. This is far closer. We'll let that play its way through and see if there are any other messages. Got to scoot over. Let's see. Sorry, Woofer Poof, for the loudness. I have to apologize. So, okay, well, like I said, I threatened. I'm going to ask you questions. Have you seen any movies lately? Have you played any good video games lately? Because I'm getting no questions. If I don't see any questions, I'm out of here at the top of the hour in 10 minutes, guys. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure there are a heck of a lot more entertaining things to watch than me, so I ain't going to blame you. But, hold on. Just make sure. Yeah, Richard, you're getting closer, far closer. And, I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption simply because it has a large enough, like, game world. I get the sensation of, like, being actually in the outside world. Ah, Lizzie ran away, because, Laura is making one of her wraps, and Lizzie is addicted to feta cheese, and I have a feeling that she came in there looking for a little bit of that feta. Just finding my mouse and seeing what, because we've gotten some stuff from the other people working with my show. Oh, goodness, let's see here. I think Kayla has been working on Ronin fur. Let's see, I'm gonna see that. Yeah, we got that. Let's see. First round. What's the second one? Oh, yeah, not bad, Kayla. You need to make his cheeks a little bit puffier, but seriously, that's pretty good. Tail, you're very good on his tail. His tail's insanely thick. But yeah, that looks like him. He's got, and one of the things, if you want to tweak the model, Kayla, is that he has his left eye is a little bit smaller than his right. I don't know. He probably he was a reckless animal from the moment that we adopted. I'm pretty sure it's just like an injury, maybe from his first 8 weeks of life. Ronin's a crazy cat. Oh yeah. Hold on. I never brought this image over for you. There's another one. Yeah, there we are. Jeez, what is it doing? There we go. Front and sides. Let's see here, and yeah, Kayla, thank you for sharing that. Kayla's been doing animation and illustration and a whole bunch of stuff for us. Let's see, SoundCloud from Richard showing that. Now we got an animation. Maybe some of you guys haven't seen it, of like an image of Ronan being done. Entertaining. I'll bring it. Let me see. Is there a way of opening it in a new window? I don't think there is. Oh, there is. There we go. Okay. Hopefully I can play it from there. Yeah, I can. Let's stop playing. Looks a little bit like Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force there. Now, if this were an accurate picture, by the way, it wouldn't be a glass. That would be somebody's eyes. Don't get me wrong, Ronan is an awesome cat, but hey, he really pushes you sometimes. I think it was like about a month after we got him, he swatted me literally right in the eye, and my whole entire sinus passages got infected. And for 2 days, I was walking around just like feeling as if I was like drunk. It was, but you know, if you're willing to put up with that, you can put up with anything from a cat. Really, hey, on some level, it's the universe, like just evening out the karma thing. I'm pretty sure I did something, back in the past right. I deserve that. You see, cats are karma's deliverers. So, let me see here if there are any other questions coming in. Okay. See, Lizzie is still sitting there. Lizzie needs her fur length adjusted. She is much fuzzier than that. Yes. And because of the IK, she's looking away from us. She's always going to be looking away from us, unfortunately. we can limit that. Sorry for that burp. I was eating my Brussels sprout and garlic kimchi earlier tonight, and let me tell you guys, challenging. I'm just going to Alt-Tab out of that so I can go over here and see if anybody's asked any questions. If anybody said about the games they're playing,
Cross mountain ranges.
Oh,
split cells,
ads.
Command the tools of tomorrow.
Didn't
are
we
a team
pay
of
for like the
unique
pro
and
version? Why
powerful
are we getting ads,
Join
dude?
forces with us, and you can take on anything. What's your warrior? Find out
What
at
is this?
GoOnIt.com.
This is Alexander Ellison, the voice of truth, liberty, and justice, reminding you to go to
Alrighty, let's.
www.superblueberryvitalityformula.info for more news about this great, great product that's transforming the lives of patriots everywhere.
Where is this coming from?
Be sure to keep tuning in and watch for our
Oh, it's probably
upcoming
on our
interview
SoundCloud.
about
Oh, yeah, it's
interdimensional
playing through it.
shape-shifting
But that was an
particle
ad?
ejecto
They're playing an
wars
ad on
and
our
the blueprint
SoundCloud?
for
We
global
pay for the
enslavement
premium.
that they're
That's
hatching
insanity.
right now under our noses. Thank you for tuning into the show, all you patriots.
Alrighty, we're going to pause that for a moment. Let's just keep it running. Radio sample. Yeah, that was an earlier piece. A little bit strong. Hello, Michael Maxwell. No. This works, but it's so contextual in my mind. Maybe, if we could make it so that there would be different music depending on what the cat's mood is, or stats are, it would be playing different music. I think we could make something like this work. Hopefully I'm just not drowned out by the music. Yeah, okay. Let me see, any messages in there? Yes, Michael Maxwell. I have those all the time, the typing accents. I can see in the video you're going to see me just like stuffing peanuts in my face. Disgusting spectacle. Let's see. Sorry, just going to see if we got anything else from our messenger developers that have shown off. Oh yeah, Michael, I did. Let's show this. Yes. Brilliant work. No, let me see. Live stream. You see it? Yeah. All right. Well, no questions coming in, so I guess let me see. I have all of 1 minute left with you guys. It works, but it's just so contextual to me. But we can make it work. Let me see here. All right. And we're going through all of these. Yes, so let me see. I'm just going over see if luck be a lady, there are any questions. It seems we have about how many? 21, 15? I don't know how many people it says. 15. We've gone down from 21 to 15. The audience is dying off, which is a sure sign that we need to call it, because I know that there are Netflix series that are a heck of a lot more entertaining than whatever I'm showing demonstrating to you tonight. Oh my, damn myself a faint praise. Hold on for a moment. Gotta turn down that music. Alright. Oh yeah. Let me tell you, that's something to look into if we ever go into Fmod. But that is like post beta stuff. Richard is mentioning, dynamic composition, etc., etc. Yes, that is something definitely we want to look into, because anything that we could do to make this soundtrack procedural and individual to each player, I'm 100% for. I want, you know, people. And now here's another thing. Some of these rocks, gonna have to work on those textures. See, that's really low res, even though we're working at the highest resolution. I mean, the highest settings here. And see how pixelated it is. I think it's maybe because I'm using the wrong rock for the right reasons. We'll take a look later. Oh, can't go jump up there. Come on, guys. Ooh. Eventually, we're going to have it so that, you know, when you're going through foliage, again, it'll be a far more legible view. Yeah, and there's some things that are knocked out of place, like the sign up there. There are probably tomorrow, but another one of those depth field. I'm probably going to be going through and just like testing like road warps, finding where there are like little situations in the roads like this. Oh, look at that! That was a poppies. If you note here, this is again another thing that's all on me. Just saying. Note how the road is in relation to the curb in that one spot there. That's got to be ironed out. And when I'm doing that, I just got to run around and find out all the little things. There are some things that are missing, like this house here. This house has been just like missing. But so are a lot of other small things. But, you know, again, as I said, like maybe a half hour in this whole thing. There are so many thousands of objects inside of the game world. It's only natural that a few will be like missed on the various bakes. But let's see here. I'm going to Alt F4 out of this because really, we're coming to the end of our broadcasting day, ladies and germs. I appreciate you guys tuning in, those who did. Oh, I got a question. Oh, holy feces. Now, yeah, Mike, you dropped that on me. Okay, I'm going to be here for 27 more minutes. Sorry, Laura. Of course, I believe in the existence of extraterrestrials, but well, yeah, that's all I could say. Yeah. Oh, Scotty, there you are. Yeah, and by the way, I just want to go back to Richard Chez DaCosta's message there. If we do get into Fmod, and I mean these heavier things, if indeed we can automate the process of, you know, depending on the cat's, you know, red and blue meters, if we can, you know, slightly change the music, you know, pitch or tempo or so, if we could just get it down to that point, you know, of reactivity in the soundtrack, that would be just awesome. But that, again, that's that post-beta thing. We got to make sure that what we have works before we try to take on bigger things. Let's see. Now, the whole thing about the existence of extraterrestrials, I don't think that any author that's spoken about the subject really has it right. I just really don't. Because it's, well, yet to be decided and figured out. I'm going to stop shoving peanuts in my face in just a moment. Right now, in fact. You see, you asked me a question 2 minutes after the hour, and you're stuck with another 27 minutes of this. Bless you, sons. So, if any of you guys are not aware, my grandfather, and I just want to check my sound levels here, was a guy by the name of Joseph Blumerick, and I could bring him up here. He wrote a book called The Ships of Ezekiel, I believe. Let's go. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, images. Um, he wrote. I'm pretty sure it's going to come up in the images. For some reason, Google has been doing this during ever since the plague started. Yeah, Spaceships of Ezekiel. Let's see if we zoom in there. He wrote this book as well as a number of other ones, including one about the 7 days or something like that. But his books were mostly known in Germany and German-speaking countries rather than here in the United States. He enjoyed a little bit of popularity during the time of the 70s when, pardon me, when Eric von Daniken started publishing his theories about UFOs, ancient aliens, etc., etc. I mean, I can't do that gentle like Austrian accent, but he's like, oh yes, von Daniken, he was right about some things, but he got he got others wrong. But bless him. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. I have my own opinions of my grandfather. He was a peculiar man, and one of the things that's interesting about this is if you look at these, this one here. Let me see if I can bring this up. Excuse me. My nose has been itching like crazy. I don't want to be gross on camera, but there you go. Here we go. The painting on the cover here was done by my maternal grandmother. Excuse me. I'm going to step off camera for just a minute. This is just too bad. By the way, if again, music by Richard DaCosta there in the background. Yeah, if you take a look at this guy here in the center of your picture, there is my paternal grandfather, and the image on the right is one of the books that he wrote. And but the cover illustration was done by my maternal grandmother, who was an illustrator and painter in her own right. She was very just Beatrix Potter level, really good at what she did. Let's see, but she's I don't know anything about. My favorite ancient alien story is one that I only heard once on this BBC show about the Middle Ages, and they, every village had a chronicler who would, just keep track of what had happened in the village that day, etc., etc. And in one of the entries, and there was no other elaboration on it, and any of the entries, the guy had written down that a ship had appeared in the sky and lowered its anchor, and the sailor on the ship descended on the chain on the anchor, and the villagers tried to, he spoke some words, and the villagers, understandably quite frightened, took their hoes and pitchforks and did quick business with him. To me, that story is more interesting than my grandfather's story about, spaceships in the Bible. That actually sounds like something written in that sort of dialect more than, the book of Ezekiel does to me personally. A ship appeared in the sky, lowered its anchor. The sailor comes down, speaks a language no one understands. They kill him and bury him. And it sounds more like us as humans too, rather than oh my goodness, I'm seeing the God incarnate here. The angels of God speaking to me. No, if that happened back in those days, that we do as they did in England. We just bring out our hoes and pitchforks and make sure that doesn't happen again. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why they didn't come back, and we haven't seen them outside of all that anal probing stuff. But I'm not going to talk about that. Anyway, let's see. Any other questions? Oh, no. It just seems that there's a lot of sync stuff here between the time. Batty Cats. 20 more minutes of this nonsense. Here's the thing: is that we would. There are three potential. I won't go into details. There are three potential endings for the game, as it is currently written. And let me just make sure the audio is at the right level again. I'm pretty sure that I mean, somebody would have told me that I'm not making sense if you couldn't hear me at this point. So, just turn up my voice just a little bit. Again, as the tagline says, it's going to be up to you as the player to determine whether humans are brought back. I mean, she's it's a whole thing about geez, truly open world versus, you know, a world where people are shunted into certain storylines. And going into that, I'd sort of like really tip my hand and go into a lot of like game developer secrets. Here's the thing: here's one thing I will promise you. After playing Red Dead Redemption for the last couple of days, can I say, the last couple of weeks, it really, they give you the impression of a great big open world, but as soon as you deviate from, you know, the main storyline, they're like, oh yeah, you can hold up trains, you can rob banks, you can do all of this stuff. Well, you can, but you're going to have a really hard time of it. You're going to have a really hard time of it. And you see, the thing is Rockstar Games, I mean, having played so many open world games in my close to 50 years on this planet now, I know when I'm being pushed into a particular storyline. And that's what Rockstar is doing. I mean, when they are making that sort of like open world stuff, such as, oh, you can rob banks and you can do all this, making that a little bit too difficult for you. They are punishing you, essentially, for taking advantage of an open world. And I think that is, can I use the S word, really bleepy of a game developer to offer an open world and then punish the player for taking advantage of it and pushing them back into a storyline. I mean, again, trust me. Well, who is the person who asked that question? Batty Cats. I have my annoying. After playing video games for this long, I have an encyclopedia in my head of all the things you are not supposed to do. I remember going to this one thing that was supposed to be a game developers meeting. And what we were going to do was we were going to set up some sort of mechanism so that when a cat went into the ocean, it would be like it is in Moss, if you've ever played that. The little VR game about the mouse that would just fade to black, and then the cat would be back on land, shaking himself off, you know, and your happiness would go down to zero. That would be a way of gently informing the player. Yes, you can go into the water, but it ain't going to do you any good, and it's going to actually hurt your gameplay. This guy just happened to wander over in this game developers meeting and was like, why don't you have something pop on the screen that says, don't you know that cats don't like water? That broke so many rules. I mean, I didn't respond and say, oh, yeah, maybe, guy. Don't ever, ever, ever give a player an invisible wall or direct them in such a way. That is the worst thing that you can do in an open game world. I mean, I'm pretty sure that all of us who played Morrowind were absolutely stunned when we were walking along those western beautiful, like, you know, fields of grain and flowers, and we had just, you know, 5 steps behind us picked up, you know, some herbs, and all of a sudden, sorry, you can't go any further. Oh my God, that is like, oh God, that is the gaming equivalent of a kick to the crotch, no matter what gender you happen to be or identify with. That is garbage. And anyway, not to go off on game design, but hey, like I said, at Grandpa Simpson, um, let's see. Yeah. Oh, side quests. Absolutely, side quests. There are going to be lots of things for you to play with, and lots of things. And the thing is what we want to do is create. I mean, as I may have gone into this before, there are 38 people. We're down to 14 minutes, guys, who live on the island, and we're down to 13. People are dropping like flies. And we want a particular story for each one of those erstwhile humans. We want it so that, hopefully, no matter who you are, like we said, we're like, oh, you'll find a cat in there that is either just like the one you own or one that you've had before. We want to give them each their own stories. Laura and I spent a heck of a lot of time writing these very thick backstories for all these humans. And I mean, part of the story, part of the gameplay in this is about like learning about the world, and you're going to learn that in many ways through your own actions, in some ways through the artifacts which the humans have left behind. And oh God, I hate to use that term, left behind. Tim LaHaye, and we could talk about that. No, I don't want to do that. I said no more bad mouthing. No. The Left Behind series. That was the one thing that I was sort of afraid of, that people would be like, "Oh, did the humans go up to the rapture?" No, please, no. Geez, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, there are going to be a heck of a lot of quests. I mean, for example, here's one example. Jeez, no, I can't give away spoilers, dude. I just can't. I mean, for example, there are factions. There are two factions you'll be able to side with in your quest to figure out what happened to the humans, etc., etc., etc. And how you go down that path. I mean, at any step during the way, ideally, well, we're going to figure out how things work out as far as like this goes, whether it can handle it. But I mean, hopefully, at any time during your choice, you can like go, no, I don't want to be in this faction now that I figured out what their ulterior motive is. I'd rather go over to this other side. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we want engaging stories. We want engaging stories no matter where you go. And again, hopefully there's going to be a story, or two in there that, resonates with every person who plays it. And heck, let's go. Questions? Magical god cats. No, cats are not gods. Here's the thing. About quote unquote deep story writing. I mean, trust me, if we had a story meeting here right now, even with just the stuff that we have written so far, I could be sitting here for the next 10 hours telling you everything that we have written in relation to the story, but I'm not going to go into that. Understand that one of the things that sort of consistently astounded me, particularly since Rick and Morty make so many references to it, Inception. And I never really grasped until I saw Rick and Morty how many people thought that Inception was a really complex, deep story. Now, no offense, but Cloud Atlas was the exact same model of storytelling, and it had a far engaging story on every level. Even though they got some things wrong, Inception is not a deep storyline at all. It's just, if you look at it as with, sort of, the Russian doll, it's very simple. I mean, when you see Rick and Morty, he's like, oh yeah, you'll be popular in college. You can tell. I can't do the Rick and Morty voice, but oh yeah, you could tell your future girlfriends about how you understand Inception. He keeps on bringing that up. And I mean, is that really like a hipster thing? Oh yeah, I understand Inception. If so, hipsters, seriously, you got to come up with a better like benchmark. Because anyway, jeez, I'm Grandpa Simpsoning. I got to bring myself back to it. I have a feeling after playing, and I'm going to say it. Games like Dragon Age Origins and Mass Effect, who both have the exact same story. All of the Mass Effect games and all of the Dragon Age Origins games have the exact same story. I'm sorry to break it to you, kids. It just is. Now, I understand that maybe when you go into a game industry where, that is considered, I mean, there are some people who are like, oh my God, that was such a deep story. I felt so involved in Mass Effect, whatever number. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, I could see how some people might think, something like Inception is very complex. And maybe some people may think our story, the many stories that we're trying to tell, are sort of convoluted. But heck, if they want to spend as much time trying to figure out our storylines as they did trying to figure out Inception, bless them. I hope they all buy a copy because trust me, you're going to find a heck of a lot more and deeper stuff here than you did in Inception. Seriously, no offense, beautiful movie. Guys, I don't know, because I think the studio that made that movie, bless them, they probably own half the game companies in the world now. And oh my goodness, I can't say anything about them. But again, beautiful movie, but it does not deserve the rep it has for being such a complex movie to understand. My goodness. Now, what was that movie? Primer. Primer. We're not going to be like Primer. Primer was a movie I wanted to punch. If it was possible to punch a movie, I wanted to punch Primer. Anyway, let's see. Any other questions? What was that? Check it. Deus on. What is Deus? Is it like? Don't tell me they made a Deus Ex television series or something. That would be very depressing, very sad, very very sad. Let's see. Anyway, you've been looking at this picture for the last 10 minutes of my grandfather. When he came here to look at the game, I mean, people who scan through the video are going to be wondering, what the heck are we seeing? I'm just going to start up the game again so we can see that for the last couple of minutes that we're together. And while that's starting up, I'm going to just duck away and take care of something. So give me a moment. No, yeah, there we go. Just turn off my mic. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Hold on. Making sure. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. He asked about Dalsim. That is a character from Street Fighter, and no, the character is not showing up in the game. Like no characters from Grand Theft Auto or any other games are going to be showing up in this. There's no crossovers. Um, crossovers are for lazy writers. Yes, Mike. Oh, I see. My mic is off. I see. It's not off anymore. Let me share. Okay. Okay, I think I've answered that. What time are we at? We got 3 more minutes, and then I'm going to go off and I'm going to watch some other screen because I really don't like. Well, no. Well, this seat here and these two screens are what I stare at 90% of my like waking hours every work day. I really want to go out to the living room and stare at a different screen for about at least a couple hours before sleep overtakes me. All right. Sorry about the mic problems, guys. And here are things, how things stand right now. We are hoping to release the alpha by month's end. That's the only guarantee that I can give you. Month's end. And hey, we have the capital and hopefully the manpower and time. For those of you contributors on Patreon, thank you. For those who do not know our Patreon, it's patreon.com/peaceisland. All one word. And I think I'm going to go out there and eat more strange fermented Brussels sprouts. Thanks for tuning in. And take care, guys. Stay safe. Who knows how long this craziness is going to continue. But hopefully it's going to be a short. So I'm going to end this stream. Take care. I don't see any questions. Bye-bye. Take care.